Of the motion, say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. 14.
My motion, the need for the federal government to address the escalating prices of cement. Mr. Speaker, I want the House to note the escalating prices of different brands of cement at the instance of the Cement Manufacturers Association of Nigeria without due consideration of the negative implication on the building industry. Also note that the immediate consequences of the sharp price increases will be for contractors to either apply for variations in contract terms or abandon the project. Concerned that if nothing is done to cause a reduction in the price of cement, it could lead to more cases of building collapse and resultant loss of lives as dishonest builders and contractors will start using lesser quantity of cement for construction works in order to reduce cost, and will also make it extremely difficult for an average Nigerian to build his own home and reduce the capacity of government to provide mass housing for the citizens. Therefore, the House wishes to resolve, Mr. Speaker, 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to interfere with the Cement Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and other stakeholders with a view to addressing the escalating price of cement. And secondly, mandate the Committee on Industry to ensure implementation and report back in 4 weeks for further legislative action. This is my motion. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. My dear distinguished honorable colleagues, as my motion goes, it all centers on the issue of alarming rate, and it's very disturbing for that matter, the issue of housing deficit in this our country, Nigeria. It is pertinent to note that the stakeholders in that the building sector, what you call the real sector, have really have a concern that the Nigerian housing deficit is almost about 18%. At least if it is not up to 18%, it is definitely more than 17%. And this is a figure that was there since 2015. By projection, it should have been more than that. Alarming again to note that by the year 2012, just about 5 years from now, the housing deficit was only 7%. Instead of it to reduce, to narrow the gap, it is on the increase. Again, by that year, the price of cement was about 1,300. Now it is almost ranging between 2,700 to 3,200. And our own purchasing ability and the capability, both as a government and as an individual, is making cement to be very, very much unaffordable. Again, considering the background that cement forms almost 60 to 70% in an aggregate of construction industry, be it housing, be it road. So this infrastructure in terms of road and building, invariably, narrowly speaking, housing will definitely become very, very difficult for people to own their houses. I'm going by the aspiration of the country to provide mass housing. It is impeding in two perspectives, either for contractors to compromise the cement mortar ratio, or builders too, they cannot afford to build, which will result in lesser housing or even no housing at all. Again, if nothing is not done to actually help to prune, to trim down the price of cement, Mr. Speaker and my honorable colleagues, I fear, because in this part of the country, we really gave due precedent or due importance to cement as an element in the building industry. If we have resort to other elements, like having some fiber, even fiber that are cement, but it's a little bit, the quantity is not as we are being practicing now. So if we can resort to other means, using timber, using sheet, and so many other substitute to have building, if the government can promote this kind of activities, then we will actually reduce the the high demand on cement. Invariably, when there is lower demand, then the price could come down. That is one method. Another thing we are suggesting is that for the Ministry of Trade to really liaise with so many other agencies that are involved or can actually promote the cement manufacturers. We have a lot of cement factories in Benue, in Gombe, Ashaka. We have it in Sokoto. They are all scattered, even in Kogi State. So what we are trying to say here is that if, like Ministry of Power or the power sector, can do something to give a concessionary kind of a billing, even to reduce the cost of electricity power, which is, when you go into that industry, it is what, because research has proven out that the cost of power actually helps in making the production cost to be higher. Once there is something to mitigate or to reduce the power cost, invariably you will reduce the cost of production, and invariably the unit price of cement will come down. So I don't know how we are going to do it, but at least this kind of system of reducing the cost of production has worked in one of the countries like Ethiopia, when the government deliberately interject and make cement manufacturers to have almost zero or at least less than 10% of the energy cost. And that helps them so that the price of cement per unit to a local consumer has been reduced tremendously, which boosted their housing industry, their real estate sector, their road, and so on and so forth. The ministry are in a better position, if given the challenge, to really interface, look at our own peculiarity with a view of really pruning the cost of cement. Because the escalating rate now, at some other places, 3,200, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, will definitely make it very, very difficult for us to own house and to achieve our yearning aspiration of housing for all, from whichever other government and whatever the amount is there. So the whole aim is to see what can be done to reduce the cost of cement. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
I have it. I'll make this announcement for the last time.